found yourself wondering why we say, she runs every morning, but they run every morning? Or why the team is winning, but the players are celebrating? These everyday encounters with subject-verb agreement are all around us. But how do we know which form of the verb to use? Welcome everyone to our exciting video on subject-verb agreement, a crucial element of English grammar that can make or break the clarity and flow of your writing and speech. In today's video, we'll dive into what subject-verb agreement really is, why it's so important, and the key rules you need to know to get it right every time. We'll also uncover some common mistakes people make and share practical, easy-to-remember tips to help you master this essential skill. By the end, you'll be ready to use subject-verb agreement with confidence and impress everyone with your polished grammar. So, let's get started and make grammar fun! Subject-verb agreement is a simple rule in grammar that says the verb must match the subject and number, whether it's singular or plural. It's like making sure two things go together perfectly. So, what does that mean? When we talk about subject-verb agreement, it simply means that the verb must match the subject and number. If the subject is singular, then the verb must also be singular. And if the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. Let's start with singular nouns and verb agreement. A singular noun refers to just one person, thing, or idea. For example, girl, dog, joy. A singular verb is the verb used with a singular noun to describe what the noun is doing. In English, a singular verb often has an S at the end. For example, the girl runs fast. The dog barks loudly. Joy enjoys reading. So, remember, when the subject is singular, the verb will almost always end in S. Another example. Cebu offers delicious local dishes. In this case, Cebu is a singular subject because it's one place, an island, or a city. Since Cebu is just one thing, we use the singular verb offers. Even though there are many local dishes in Cebu, the subject Cebu is still just one. That's why we use the singular verb offers to say that Cebu provides or gives those dishes. So, the rule is simple. If the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. Now, it's your turn. Your question. The question is, which sentence is correct? Choose the right verb. The teacher teaches or teach the students every day. You have 30 seconds to answer. So, the answer is, the teacher teaches the students every day. In this sentence, the teacher is a singular subject because we're talking about one teacher. Since the subject is singular, we use the singular verb teaches with the S at the end. Now let's try learning plural noun and verb agreement. What is plural noun and verb agreement? Just like with singular nouns and verbs, plural nouns and plural verbs need to match in a sentence. If the subject of the sentence is plural, the verb also needs to be plural. This ensures that the subject and verb work together smoothly to make the sentence clear. So, how does it work? Plural noun refers to more than one person, thing, or idea. In English, we often form plural nouns by adding S or ES at the end of the word. Example of plural nouns: dogs, children, and cars. Plural verb is a verb used with a plural subject. Most plural verbs do not end in S. Example of plural verbs: stop, enjoy, bark, run. Let's look at some examples. The dogs bark at the gate. In this sentence, we're talking about two or more dogs. So we use bark to show what the dogs are doing. If you were talking about just one dog, you would use barks instead. Without plural agreement, the sentence would sound strange. The dog barked at the gate. This doesn't match because the singular subject dog doesn't go with the plural verb bark. It should be barks. The second example. The children play in the park. Here, children is plural and the verb play is used without the s because it's matching the plural subject. Now it's your turn. Which sentence is correct? A. The Cebuano Filipino enjoys the Sinulog Festival. B. The Cebuano people enjoy the Sinulog Festival. You have 30 seconds to answer. So the answer is letter B. The Cebuano people enjoy the Sinulog Festival. In this case, Cebuano people is a plural subject because we're talking about more than one person.
Did you know that subject-verb agreement is not that simple? While subject-verb agreement is easy in simple sentences, it can become tricky in more complex sentences. We have some other basic subject-verb agreement rules. The first one is compound subject. What is a compound subject? A compound subject occurs when two or more nouns or pronouns are joined together to form one subject in a sentence. The words and or are typically used to connect the subject. The rule for compound subjects: when two or more subjects are joined by the word and the subject becomes plural, this means the verb must also be plural to match the plural subject. Example: Jane and Ivan are siblings. Let us break this down. Jane is a singular subject and Ivan is another singular subject. Because they are joined together by and they form a compound subject which is plural because you are talking about two people, which is Jane and Ivan. Since the subject is plural, we use the plural verb are. So the question is, which verb should be used in the following sentence? Tom and Sarah blank going to the mall. A, S, B, R. You have 30 seconds to answer. The correct answer is B, R. Tom and Sarah is a compound subject, right? Because it has two parts connected by and. A compound subject, which is two or more people or things connected by and, is plural. So we use the plural verb are. The sentence should be, Tom and Sarah are going to the mall. The other rule is collective nouns and subject-verb agreement. A collective noun refers to a group of people, animals, or things considered as a single unit. Some examples of collective nouns are team, group, family, class, and audience. Collective nouns can be treated as a singular or plural depending on the context of the sentence. This means the verb you use will depend on whether you are thinking of group as a whole or as an individual members. When collective nouns are singular, when you treat the collective noun as a single unit, it takes a singular verb. This means you are focusing on the group as a whole rather than on the individual members within. So when collective nouns are plural, when you treat the collective noun as a multiple individuals members, it takes a plural verb. This happens when you are focusing on the action of the individual members of group rather than the group as a whole. Example, the class are raising their hands to answer the question. Here, the focus is on the individual students in the class raising their hands. So the verb are is plural. And the next rule is indefinite pronouns and subject-verb agreement. Indefinite pronouns are words like everyone, each, someone, nobody, and everything that do not refer to a specific person or thing. Some of these pronouns are always singular, which means they take a singular verb. Examples: everyone is invited to the festa. In this case, even though we are talking about many people, the word everyone is treated as a single unit, so we use the singular verb is. So the question why is, even though everyone refers to the many people, it is singular grammatically. Think of it like a single group. That's why the correct sentence is everyone is invited, not everyone are invited. And the next one is phrases that separate subjects and verbs. Sometimes in a sentence, you may find phrases like as well as or along with that come between the subject and the verb. These phrases do not change the verb. The verb still agrees with the main subject, which is the noun before the phrase. Example, the teacher along with her students is excited for the field trip. The main subject here is the teacher, which is singular, even though her students comes after along with and is plural. It does not change the fact that the main subject is singular. Since the teacher is singular, the verb that follows should also be singular, so we use is.
The rules of subject-verb agreement don't stop here. There are many more. But let's keep things simple for now and focus on the basic ones that tend to confuse most students. By mastering this, you'll have a much easier time understanding how subject and verbs work together in sentences. Once you're comfortable with the basics, you can move on to more advanced rules. Let's break it down step by step so it's easy to grasp. Now that you've got a solid understanding what subject-verb agreement is and the rules that go with it, let's dive into some of the most common mistakes people make and of course some tips to help you master it like a pro. Let's get into it. Now, let's talk about some common mistakes with subject-verb agreement and how to avoid them. I know this can be tricky sometimes, but don't worry, we've got it covered. First, ignoring proximity. Common mistake, the group. First, ignoring proximity. Common mistake example, the group of students are studying. The correct form, the group of students is studying. Here's the thing, even though students is plural, the real subject is group, which is singular. So we use is because we're talking about one group, not the individual students. Misusing collective nouns. Common mistake example, the committee have made their decision. It should be, The committee has made its decision. A collective noun like committee refers to a group of people, but it's treated as a single unit. That means you use has instead of have. So, it's the committee has made its decision. Confusing singular and plural forms. Common mistake example. Each of the players have a trophy. Common mistake example. Each of the players have a trophy. It should be, each of the players has a trophy. Each is always singular, so it doesn't matter that there are many players. We still say each has, not each have. It's a bit tricky, but remember, each gets a singular verb. Using titles or names of countries. Common mistake example. The United States are a powerful nation. Common mistake. It should be, the United States is a powerful nation. It should be, the United States is a powerful nation. Even though states is plural, when we talk about the country, the United States, we treat it as a singular. So we say, the United States is and not are. Tips for mastering subject-verb agreement. So, how do we make sure we get subject-verb agreement right every time? Here are some tips that will help you out. First, find the subject first. Before choosing your verb, always look for the subject of the sentence. The subject tells you if the verb should be singular or plural. For example, in the teacher is kind, teacher is the subject and it's singular, so you use is. Second, practice with examples. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Do some exercises where you will fill in the blanks or fix sentences. For example, the dog blank running. Answer is because dog is singular, so it should be the dog is running. Third, read aloud. Sometimes we don't notice mistakes when reading silently, but when you read aloud, you can catch things that sound off. Try reading your sentences out loud to see if everything sounds right. The fourth, use grammar tools. Don't forget about grammar tools. There are so many online tools that help spot subject-verb agreement mistakes. They're like your personal grammar assistant. Alright, to wrap it up, getting subject-verb agreement right is a key for clear and correct sentences. When you master this, your writing and speaking will sound smooth and professional, and you'll feel more confident expressing yourself. Remember, the more you practice, the better you'll get. It's all about consistency. Keeping working at it, and soon this will become second nature. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more grammar tips and tricks. You've got this, and you're one step closer to becoming a grammar pro. Keep up the great work.